Right now, I'm 11 miles off the coast of the San Francisco Bay, chasing down a massive 1,200-foot cargo ship. There are no safety nets, no harnesses, and only one way up. This might look like a stunt, but it's the everyday commute for the bar pilots, an elite group of expert mariners tasked with navigating the world's largest ships through some of the most treacherous waters. From climbing aboard 1,300-foot vessels weighing over 45,000 tons to navigating some of the most challenging waters on Earth, the San Francisco bar pilots are part of an elite group with the skill and experience needed to uphold a centuries-old tradition where even the smallest mistake could mean disaster. So today I'm bringing you up close to the thrilling world of being a bar pilot and what it takes to navigate the world's largest ships into the iconic San Francisco Bay. Liquid. Not like burning, but it was warm.
So a captain's not qualified to come into San Francisco and dock the ship because they don't have that local knowledge that a pilot has. A bar pilot is responsible for bringing the ship in safely. The bar pilot knows the wind, the current, all the hazards to navigation, shallow areas.
Pilot sector of the maritime industry is pretty much the pinnacle of the seafaring career. We're the local experts in all the little details that it takes to get a ship in and out of the bay safely.
On that tanker going up to Benicia, got anybody coming down?
Yeah, there's a car ship coming out of Benicia too.
What's our underkeel clearance going to be?
It's about 3 feet at Knoll Shoal.
Excellent.
Anything over 750 tons requires a pilot. San Francisco bar pilots are responsible for 8,000 ships coming and going and about a $40 billion revenue to the economy. So the bar pilots are responsible for 9 total ports: Oakland, Richmond, Martinez and Benicia, and then beyond that, Stockton and Sacramento. And then to the south is Redwood City, and we also occasionally take cruise ships into Monterey.
The name bar pilot comes from the massive horseshoe-shaped sandbar that stretches nearly 5 miles offshore from the Golden Gate. The main shipping lane cuts through a narrow channel right down the middle, just one of the many reasons why the San Francisco Bay is considered some of the most treacherous waters in the world. Now, the history of the bar pilots dates all the way back to 1850, when at the height of the California gold rush, ship traffic in and out of the bay skyrocketed. But with this sudden surge in vessels, and many captains unfamiliar with the coastline, came a rise in accidents, with estimates as high as 300 shipwrecks just outside the Golden Gate. Clearly, something had to change. So in 1850, the California legislature created a solution: a dedicated group of expert mariners who would board incoming ships and guide them safely through the hazardous entrance to the bay. And so, the bar pilots were officially formed, and for the past 175 years, they've been trusted with one mission: navigating the world's largest ships through some of the world's most challenging waters. Now, over the years, the runner boats used to ferry bar pilots both to and from inbound and outbound vessels has changed quite a bit. And up until 1974, they actually used a sail-powered schooner, which you can only imagine what that must have been like boarding massive cargo ships out in choppy waters. Now, these days, the runner boat looks quite a bit different. And in 2023, the bar pilots commissioned their newest vessel, a state-of-the-art, all-aluminum monohull design, rightfully named the Golden Gate.
We have 2 primary boats in the bay. The Golden Gate is our run boat, and the second is our station boat. Pilot boat Golden Gate runs us around inside the bay. It's a state-of-the-art boat, very fuel economical and fast. And then our station boats are 105-foot steel-hulled, twin-screw, diesel-powered. It's the boat that we board ships at sea 11 miles outside the Golden Gate with. Spending a couple hours on there. We get a meal, we have a cook. There's bunks there, we can take a rest if we need to. Otherwise, it's just kind of relaxing, telling stories in the salon with the other pilots that you might be with. or just sharing time with the boat crew.
Well, here we are on the pilot boat Golden Gate. This is the most EPA advanced pilot boat in the United States. She has a seat for the captain, one for the crew member. Here in front of it, we have all of the instrumentation that they could use, the radars, electronic chart. We also have radios for communication, and we also have 10 pilot seats for transferring pilots to and from ships in and outside of the bay.
Yeah, that was my first impression when I walked on. It's like business class seating here for the pilots.
Totally. We wanted to make it nice and quiet and comfortable for the pilots and the crew, so we have these large seats that recline. Here we are in the Eckholm space. We have 2 bunks for the crew because they're on a 12-hour shift, so they may need a place to rack out for a little while. We also have a coffee maker, a microwave, a bathroom for them. So we try to make it as comfortable as we can while they're on board.
Yeah, you don't know from the outside how big and spacious this is, but you walk down, wow, it's like a whole other living quarters down there.
Yeah, it's a 67-foot boat, and it feels a lot bigger when you're down here below deck. All right, here we are in our engine room. We have 2 MAN engines that have about 1,200 horsepower each side. These are the most advanced EPA engines in the United States right now.
So max speed of this, what would you say?
Max speed, we can get her to do about 35 knots, which is about 38 miles an hour, roughly.
What's the crew of the Golden Gate typically to take care of this while you guys are out?
We have a captain and a deckhand, and they are both trained on the basics on the engines. They check them daily, do maintenance checks on them. They can do some troubleshooting, but we do have an engineer that takes care of the big work that needs to be done.
Now, what I find most fascinating about the bar pilots isn't just their daring ship-to-ship transfers. I mean, that's incredibly cool, and we'll get to it here in just a bit. But when I learned how selective these positions are, I was blown away. And it left me wondering, what does it actually take to become a San Francisco bar pilot?
To become a pilot, you have to be either a tugboat captain or a ship captain. You can do that through a maritime academy, or there's guys like me that they call hawspipers. They work themselves up from the deck.
Got one down.
It's a lengthy process. It took me about 10 years to get my unlimited master's license.
Starboard side.
When I took the test 14 years ago, there was about 75 people taking the written exam. From those 75 people, about 15 made it to the simulator, and 12 of us made it through the simulator.
Every year around the world, a pilot loses their life or gets severely injured from disembarking or boarding a vessel.
Got the stern a little bit towards.
I've been working on the water for pretty much my whole life, and I see what can happen out on the ocean, and so I have a good respect for it, and that makes me more responsible working on the water.
And if you're out at sea getting on a ship,
There's really no other profession that requires so many different things to be perfected in order to succeed.
we got any downbound traffic? 3 feet. Just cutting it close there.
24/7, 365 days a year, rain or shine, storm or no storm, there's going to be a pilot ready to take a ship in from sea.
It is definitely a first full circle moment for me to be a captain and now training to be a bar pilot. I feel like I'm lining myself up for the best job in the world.
When you step off and there's this 400-meter ship that you safely got to the dock and didn't break anything, it's pretty awesome.
Now, watching these pilots guide ships through the Golden Gate really makes you appreciate just how much skill goes into commanding something of this size. And if you've ever wanted to experience what it's like to take the helm yourself, World of Warships is the perfect way to do it. It's a free-to-play naval combat game available on both PC and console that lets you take command of some of history's most legendary warships, all recreated with incredible attention to detail. And with this year marking the 250th anniversary of the United States Navy, there's never been a better time to celebrate America's maritime maritime legacy. What makes World of Warships stand out is the level of authenticity. Every ship is modeled from real blueprints, crafted by people who are truly passionate about naval history, and made for players who share that same passion. On top of that, World of Warships keeps expanding with new missions, dynamic battles, and seasonal updates, like the holiday event going on right now where you can visit Port Norlis Haven and win prizes from the daily advent calendar in Santa's gift containers. You can use my link in the description and enter code STEPUP250 to claim your free starter pack, including 20 days of premium account time, exclusive custom ships, and a whole lot more. Download World of Warships today and join the celebration of 250 years of American naval power. Now, earlier we discussed how there are two primary boats the bar pilots use. The Golden Gate Runner, which we're currently on, is used mostly to transport pilots to and from the station boat, a larger vessel which is about 11 miles outside of the Golden Gate. It's where pilots eat, sleep, relax, and await their next assignment. And that's where we're headed right now, to see where the process for boarding a moving ship out at sea really begins. Now, in the maritime industry, there are specific shipping lanes all inbound and outbound traffic must follow. It's like an invisible highway system, with roads and routes specific to each ship, its size, weight, and cargo. To make things as simple as possible, the bay is divided into 3 main shipping routes: 2 deep water lanes to the north and south, and a shallow water lane that splits the two and can be used for smaller ships. Almost all inbound traffic entering the bay, unless they're going upriver, will take the deep water eastbound lane to the south of Alcatraz Island. All outbound traffic leaving the bay uses the westbound lane to the north of Alcatraz. But some ships are so large that their draft, or the depth the vessel extends below the water, exceeds 45 feet, which is the limit for the northern lane. In fact, if you take a look at this graphic, which shows the largest ship that comes into the bay, the Benjamin Franklin, it's nearly 1,300 feet long, making it larger than San Francisco's most iconic landmarks, even larger than the Empire State Building. These ships use the southern deepwater lane to travel both inbound and outbound, which helps ensure that they avoid potential hazards like running aground. So we are now aboard the station boat, where pilots rest, relax, and await their next assignment. And for us, this is where we're going to be standing by until we get the radio call from dispatch, letting us know the container ship is inbound so that we can go experience a ship transfer for ourselves.
So life on the station boat, there's a crew of 4, 3 boat operators and a cook. If there's a couple other pilots, you're telling jokes, having a good time, relaxing if the weather's nice. If the weather's not so nice, everybody's doing their best to just keep it together, because if it's rough out, it's rough out. So the bar pilot schedule is a week on and a week off, Wednesday noon to Wednesday noon. It's different than a fire department where they stay in the firehouse. We have a live website and a 24-hour dispatching, so we can see where we're going to be going to work and manage our rest hours accordingly so that we are fully rested and ready to go to work when the time comes.
So luckily the weather is pretty nice for us today, but I imagine it can get a whole lot worse. Does it ever get to the point where you feel like you can't safely board another ship?
It depends on the boat operator and how he's reading the seas at the time. That transition can be tricky, and it's all about relative motion. And if he can get the ship spun to a certain area on a certain heading where he can minimize that relative motion, where we're sliding up and down the side of the ship, if we can do that, then it's no problem, but we have to try.
Yeah, exactly. And how bad have you seen the swells get out here?
18 to 20 foot.
20
and that's just the swell. Then you have the wind waves on top of that. So we can suspend pilot services and turn ships around. So we'll keep the ships close by, but we'll tell them, hey, at this time, be in position to take a pilot on board.
Good afternoon, Mighty to Pilot Station 1330. Please, can you let me know pilot boarding arrangement?
And I'll be meeting you approximately 2 miles west of the sea buoy. West of the sea buoy. You copy?
Okay, that's 2 miles from West Sea Buoy.
That is all correct. And continue monitoring channel 13 for further communication. Thank you. San Francisco out.
there it is, that's our call. Looks like we've got a massive 1,200-foot cargo ship called the Osiris inbound, actually originated in Singapore. At this point, it's time to gear up, make our way over to the transfer area. This is the part we've been waiting for.
The most dangerous part of being a San Francisco bar pilot is the pilot-to-ship transfer. So imagine being out there in a winter storm and there's waves and there's white water everywhere, and then you step out onto the platform, the ship is surging, the boat's climbing up and down the side of the ship, and you have to time your transfer from the platform onto this ladder with 50 knots of wind and 20-foot seas. There's no safety nets, there's no harnesses. If you fall either on the deck of the tug or you fall in the water between the pilot boat and the ship.
As a trainee, I was most nervous about the ship transfer. One could be pitching up and down at a different speed than the other boat.
When you get on, there's no time to pat yourself on the back. You gotta take that first step and start climbing the ladder and get out of the way. Timing is everything in our job.
When the timing is right, you have to go for it. And you can't second guess.
Don't screw up. Be quick, but be steady on the ladder. Make sure that you don't miss.
Any last tips?
Timing is everything.
Okay, here we go.
Wait till we come back.
All right, so hard part is now done. We made it onto the ship safely. Now, we just gotta navigate this 1,200-foot vessel and find our way to the bridge.
Now, something most people don't realize is that bar pilots hold one of the most elite licenses in all of maritime navigation. They're cleared to captain anything sailing in or out of the bay, whether it's a cargo ship, an aircraft carrier, or even a submarine. If it crosses through the Golden Gate, they're the ones taking the helm.
Captain, welcome to San Francisco. I'm Savannah Sword, your head pilot, and this is Captain Lily Gallo. She's our apprentice pilot.
So when the pilot gets on board and introduces himself to the captain, the first thing we want to know is everything working? Is there any deficiencies that the pilot needs to know about that could affect a safe transit? And then we go through what we call a master pilot exchange. It's just a general information, making sure that everybody understands what my job is as a San Francisco bar pilot and how we're going to work together to get the ship to the dock safely. I have the navigation control of the ship from that point forward. And I use the helmsman to steer the ship under my orders. I'll give him rudder commands or have him steady up on a course. And I'll give commands to the mate to control the engine orders.
Typical speed going through the Golden Gate, what are you looking for?
When we get into the inland waters of San Francisco Bay, it's 15 knots.
Okay.
As we're approaching the anchorage and going through the Bay Bridge, we'll be down well below 10 knots.
Yeah, my first impression was that, that's not too fast, we're going slow, but when you think of a 1,200-foot piece of metal, you're cooking, that's not slow.
Yeah, 150,000 tons of displacement. Takes a while, there's a lot of momentum there. For turning this ship, we'll start at a half a mile before we get to the Golden Gate Bridge. To stop this ship, you have to get the engine to stop, and there's no clutch. You can't just drop the anchors. A ship this size, you drop the anchors, they're just gonna keep going if you're going too fast and rip right out of the hull.
As smooth as these operations might look from the outside, things can go wrong, and fast. Massive ships can lose steering, power, or be thrown off course by weather or current. When the container ship Dolly crashed into Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge in March of 2024, toppling the structure and tragically taking 6 lives, it was a sobering reminder to the entire country of just how high the stakes are in maritime navigation. It's in these moments that the role of pilots becomes clear, not just as guides, but as the first and last line of defense against disaster.
Oh, you wanted to start, you wanted to start.
That's why precision, training, and split-second decision-making are so important.
Good afternoon. Inbound from the pilot station to Anchorage 9, Whiskey 1. Deep draft is 42.9 feet.
So for us in San Francisco Bay as a bar pilot, fog is one of the most hazardous things we have to deal with. We have to have a half-mile visibility at a few certain key points in the bay. And if we can't get there because of fog, we'll stop, we'll anchor along the way until visibility improves. Every ship presents a new set of circumstances, whether it be super deep draft or very light draft, meaning that they're a lot taller. So now you have to worry about the bridges. The currents along the way. Is it going to be a short transit? Is it going to be a long transit? Or am I going to get pushed along by the current, making it faster? Recreational boaters, shallow water, cross currents, wind, all these things that you have to take into account when you're trying to safely navigate a ship.
Working on the ocean, I've seen a lot of crazy weather, crazy things that the water can do to vessels, ships, sailboats. So to do this job, you have to have respect for the water and for the ocean.
So here we are coming up on the Golden Gate Bridge. Just imagine being a crew out at sea for 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time. And this is what you're finally greeted by when you make it here into the bay.
For me, seeing a ship after I climb off the ladder, it's kind of amazing to think that you as an individual can take this massive piece of steel and dock it. It's definitely a very pure sense of satisfaction.
Well, I'll tell you what, having the opportunity to climb aboard a cargo ship that size was incredible, but also I was stressed out the whole time. But for you guys, just cool, calm, collected, just another day on the job, huh?
Just another day on the job.
Well, a massive thanks to the San Francisco bar pilots for letting us tag along. It's not every day you get to hitchhike on a cargo ship like that. I hope you guys enjoyed following along for this one and learned something new. We'll catch you next time.